I played Roblox games that are so absurd that I don't even think they should exist. Now, obviously that's a joke, but with the current age of Roblox games sticking to a template, I think the shift in more unserious, absurd premises of Roblox games is something that I'll always appreciate. And since we're going against the grain, I encourage you guys to keep your eyes peeled, because what we're about to explore are things you probably haven't seen before. Starting off with a challenge, Tralamone Single Man Race by Tralamone Super Cool Club. After loading into the game, we get our first look at Spawn, which honestly isn't that cool, but the fun starts when you kick down the door, and instantly we're put into the race. Now, of course, if you paid attention, the thumbnail shows a POV of a challenger driving a car, so it isn't surprising to find that driving a car would be the main attraction of this course. Trying to control this car was a hassle. It was pretty easy to flip over if you did a sudden move. So when these boulders came rolling down and I freaked out, I somehow hit this crazy move and I recovered by driving backwards. And while driving, I realized that there was this car in the weird spot of the map, which was interesting. You know, maybe that could be used for something later. But until we figured that out, I did happen to die. I mean, you can't beat everything on the first try. After attempting again and again and again, I decided to try to get to that car. I used my obby skills to make it to the top of the wall, and somehow I did. And after passing my death spot, I made it to the end. The trophy was in sight, and I claimed victory. And that was that. There was also a second part to this game, but I decided I had enough for today. Honestly, this game was pretty fun for the time that I spent in it. Currently, I'll give it a 4 out of 10 in the surreal experience. It wasn't something out of the ordinary, but the sounds were definitely surreal. Now that the bar is set, let's see what our next game is. Orange 2009 by Raptor Thingy. And annoying orange in a 2009 Roblox setting? I mean, how can you make this into a game? Well, loading into the game, I definitely had that feeling of what the fuck. The entire game was a hazy orange, with annoying oranges littered in every single place. There was an entire obby just for the lobby, but hey, there was this cool shop that Pear was running, but this is just the lobby, and I still want to know what you do in this game. So I readied up and loaded into the game. From the moment I spawned in, I knew I was in for a dramatic treat. This long walk sets up a lot of expectations, and considering you have to break this statue to begin, it definitely feels like somewhere I shouldn't be. But after breaking the statue, I started my run, and I encountered my first orange. He was pretty easy to avoid, but it only gets harder from here, as the next room had a new type of orange that explodes. But he would have been a problem if he wasn't stuck behind those pillars. But as it turns out, he wasn't needed, as I was selling the match again and again. I couldn't get far enough to see the different rooms, or the different bosses. So I took a little break and attempted one more time. And I got to the first boss room and died before I could leave. So great. To be honest, I've had enough. Now, this game is pretty surreal. I mean, this has the novelty of something from the early eras of Roblox, but at the same time has that modern feel of world building and immersion. I mean, storming the mansion of annoying oranges is already a surreal experience. So I'd give this game a solid 7 out of 10 in the surreal experience. Now we've kind of stepped into absurdity, but this next one is just pure diabolical. Dead Dog Simulator 2 by Wit. And I know what you're thinking. This is the sequel to the critically acclaimed Dead Dog Simulator. So I'm going in this game with the highest expectations possible. Loading into the game, I was honestly super curious. We spawned in a place with so many characters. It's hard not to ask who these guys are and why they're here, but we're here to find dead dogs. So if they aren't telling me where they are, they're not important. Luckily, I was told by this handsome fella that you can find a dead dog at Arby's. Jeez, that makes a lot of sense. So I made my way to the Arby's and I found the poor guy on the roof. Well, I guess that was the game. I found the dead dog. So when is Dead Dog Sim 3 coming out? Now, that was also a joke. The surreality of this game doesn't just come from the short experiences we have with finding the dead dog. There is actually so much more to discover. A place in this world you would have never guessed existed. So I put on my gaming backpack and decided to explore every corner possible. Starting with the first weird area. This cave with some ritual going on, and honestly this place gives me the chills, mostly because it is so contrastingly different from the rest of the game. It feels like something out of party.exe. There was also this chapel with this heavenly dog keeping watch, and this spot on the map that you aren't able to get to without breaking the boundaries. So I don't know why there's 2 birds in a toilet here. Now, from here on out, the weirdest things were the people you'd meet along the way. They tend to say absolutely nothing meaningful, but they are also very surreal to look at. And honestly, I've never felt so uncomfortable from the bizarreness of a game like this one. So while my visit was pretty short, I'd give this game a 9.8 out of 10 in the surreal experience. And that's our completed list. I found all of these games through Surreal Game Finder, so if you want to explore hundreds of thousands of games just like this, and many more, check it out in the comments, I'll pin it there. But I forgot to mention one thing. When I was talking to the NPCs in the game, this guy joined and just stared at me. He wasn't interested in talking, he was just watching me. And throughout my whole visit of Dead Dog Simulator 2, he was just in the game, standing in that one spot, all the way up until I left the game. And in my opinion, joining someone directly after they joined the game and just stayed in the server until they left, that's real fishy. Perhaps he was just a weird fellow, or maybe he was monitoring me, making sure that I don't stumble upon something I should never find.